Hey guys.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Oh man. I hope you guys aren't sick of our intro.
They're like, why are you guys laughing so
I know.
much? Sorry,
it's probably not that funny to you, but it's funny to me. So
it's funny at us. Here we are.
So two things. One, yeah, we're in the same outfits as last video. Because two, I could have a baby anytime soon.
Yeah.
Actually,
we gotta crank 'em out.
I could have a baby right now by the time this is posted.
Yeah.
And if
That's
I don't,
crazy.
And if I don't,
Like, wait, the next one, baby girl could be here.
oh my gosh, yeah, you're totally right. She could be like right in here.
Oh my gosh.
Let's freaking hope so. Let's hope that's the case.
That's crazy.
I know. It's
I'm so excited.
it's so crazy because I hear women being like, I would rather take first trimester over again than the last like month of pregnancy. And
Yeah.
while I disagree because first trimester is brutal because it's so much longer, I totally understand because like you're finally like the last month and now you're just like,
Yeah.
okay, everything hurts. Like I need her out. Like I get it. So like I get it. It's brutal out here, but
Yeah.
you know it's
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
She'll come out when she wants to come out, right?
Yeah. She's on her own time.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
What are we talking
So
about?
crazy.
Today?
We're going to be talking about spending time with God
Man, that's a good one. In the busy.
in the busy.
In the busy,
Let's talk about that for a minute.
which
Life is crazy.
is fitting at the moment. Hence it's been a while since we filmed our last one, but
Well, you know, Sailor's calling us out.
whoops, my bad.
It's okay. I do get people that watch us consistently, and they're like, "When's the next one coming out?"
Yeah.
I'm like,
I don't know.
I don't got an
That's
answer.
a good question. I don't know.
But yeah, no, we're gonna be talking about letting go of guilt, finding what works for you, and meeting Him in the middle of the chaos.
Yeah, that's really good. That's like key.
Yeah.
I feel like in your Christian
I think like the biggest thing is like inviting Him into the chaos.
Yeah.
Because chaos is gonna come
Mhm.
whether you want it or not.
Exactly.
And so it's like finding what works for you in like inviting Him into real life.
Yep. All the everyday things.
Yeah.
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 We'll dive into that.
Yeah.
Let's start off with why does it feel guys,
Pregnancy
I literally
brain.
have two brains inside me and I think I'm the dumbest I've ever been. Okay. Why does time with God feel harder to do when life is busy?
Yeah.
And I feel like it's like that same like idea is like why is it easier to praise God in the good than the bad?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like that same like kind of idea. I'll let you start off.
Yeah. Something that I just want to like read straight here that I wrote down earlier was making time for God can feel like one more thing you're not doing well enough. And I think that's what, at least for me, like it'll get to the point where I'm like, oh, like I was supposed to do that devotion today. Oh, I was supposed to sit down and pray. And it's like when something is constantly like, I'm just not doing that good enough. And I think after I read the book, You're Not Enough and That's Okay by Allie Best Stuckley, best book, 100%. Read it. It applies to like so many different areas of life. And this one, it just applied to boot too, because it's like, we're not ever going to be enough, and that's okay. Like the Lord still is welcoming us. And, you know, that book talks a lot about, you know, the culture of, you know, love and loving one another, right? Sure. And that's kind of what it mainly is. But I was like, oh my word, like that applies to this too. Like I'm never going to always hit my 6 a.m. I'm spending time with the Lord, right?
Right.
And so I think that's what makes it super tough is like the constant like, oh, I didn't do that. Oh, I didn't do that. But yeah, I just think then it goes back to what I was saying earlier. You have to find what works for you and just inviting Him into driving to work. Like, okay, instead of listening to my favorite country song,
Right.
I'm going to have some silence and talk with the Lord. right? But those little things that you can do overall help, that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think thinking of it as a relationship can be really, really tough, right? We don't have God sitting here with us talking. And so it's like definitely a relationship that you have to put priority and number one, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, I think the hardest distinction having to make is in those busy seasons, not making it part of your checklist, but also being disciplined enough to even just read a
balance.
Verse. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't want to be like, oh, I just got it done for the day without intentionally really reading. But also when you're in those ruts, I find it, even if I just read a verse or a short chapter a day, then I finally am okay.
Yep.
I'm ready. Forgive me, Lord, for not being in your word intentionally. But it's finding that balance is hard.
Yeah. Because it's not like we don't want to spend time with the Lord. It's we're tired. To put it point blank, man, I'm tired. Yep. I come home and I just want to lay my head down.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and my husband, he gets up at I don't know, 5:30, whatever, and he reads his Bible. And I'm when I wake up to get ready, you're not catching me reading anything. If I can get out the door on time, that's a win for me. Yep. If I can get just ready, it takes me just to get ready and put clothes on and just nowadays just get out of bed. That is a task. I'm not going to be reading anything this early in the morning. Yeah. So, again, like you said, you have to find what works for you. But it's, making excuses for ourselves. I feel in the busy. It's hard when you are tired, when you are busy, when it's okay, I just had a full day. Let's say you don't get home till 10 p.m. Now I need to read my Bible. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I think that's really where that point that we can again touch on later, but is inviting him into your entire life and not just your specific time with him.
Yep. Not just the quiet time. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's huge. And I think it's also important to remember God's asking for you. He's not asking for your perfection. Right. Because you're never going to hit it.
Yeah, no.
And so I think it's important to remember he's a God of grace and I think he recognizes that our world, the last thing this world wants us to do is spend time with the Lord, right? And so it's you have all these distractions and it's hard. It's hard to find that balance. But again, it goes back to finding what works for you. Yeah. And then from there, I think setting an expectation with yourself,
Yeah, I wrote here in Jeremiah 29:13, it says, you will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart. It's time with God is not limited to sitting down and reading your Bible. Yeah. You can seek God throughout the day, whether it's through prayer, through worship, through how you interact with other people. And just through creation itself, you can see the Lord. And you know what I mean? It's not just limited to sitting down and reading your Bible and writing the book. You know what I mean? That is not.
I think about that all the time when I'm on the mountain. That's where I feel the closest to the Lord. It's just whoa, you created this and you also created me. I feel so tiny, but then it's you look at how detailed we are, right? Yep. And it's just wow, I'm in awe. Yeah. And so 100%. Yeah. I love that.
I think going off that, we can just slide into the next thing is letting go of the guilt and kind of the legalism that goes with it. Yeah. And look, there's always someone that's going to be well, you need to be okay, we're not perfect here, people. So our time with, we're never going to be perfect. Like you said, we're never going to be perfect. Right. I think the Instagram and the TikTok and the whatever, people saying or showing spending time with the Lord or whatever and how they do it, it looks super aesthetic. Yes. And it's that is not yeah. That's great if that's what they're actually doing, but that's not what you have to do. Right. I remember, I think actually it was my mother-in-law that told me this. She was sometimes when I get really frustrated about her husband leaving clothes on the floor or something, and she's instead of getting frustrated, I find it like as a way of like worshiping the Lord, and like I'm full putting his clothes away. Like that's my way of worshiping the Lord, and it's like spending time with him. Like because I'm his wife, like that's what I, you know what I mean? Like I was like, oh, that's such a like cool way to think about it.
Yeah.
Like spending time with the Lord and worshiping him, and like the mundane and something that you really don't even want to do in the first place.
Yeah.
Like it's not aesthetic in any way,
right?
You know, but it's just like,
yeah,
if that's it, you know, I don't know.
But doing it that way, like that's where you allow joy and true connection to come through, right? If we always had this expectation that if I don't have the newest devotional, even though it might be a great devotional, but if we don't have the newest one, you know, my set of like different color highlighters, my little Bible tabs, like if we keep that expectation, like that's what spending time with the Lord, like we're missing the whole point, right? Yep. And so I think doing it out of the mundane, that's where joy and connection comes. Yeah.
Exactly. And I don't even know if this really goes with it, but I actually remember our church, they have like the women's Bible study comes out every, I don't know, few months or whatever. And I was doing it. I had started, and I was already, I've been going through Genesis. It's like a super deep dive into each chapter. And then
that's what our church is doing right now. That's funny.
Really? Oh, that's funny. And so I was doing that just on my own. And then I was starting this Bible study, and I was like, Caleb, like, I just don't feel like this Bible study is what I need right now. I was like, I feel like I am needing to just like do my own, like, just go through Genesis. Like, this is just what I'm craving, what I'm needing with my relationship with the Lord. And again, maybe this doesn't tie into it, but it's just like you have to, not every Bible study is for you. Yeah. And that maybe you're not meant to do every Bible study like at that moment, or like, you know what I mean? Like, again, it's finding what works for you. Like, what is it that you are doing to spend time with the Lord? Like, it doesn't have to be some aesthetic, like, perfect, you know, like you said, perfect notebook, perfect Bible highlighter, whatever.
Yep. Because then it becomes less of a duty and like more of I'm delighted to do this. Right. And I think that's, I don't know, when you switch to having that mindset, that's when it all changes, and then you're acting like it's a real relationship. Right. Right? I mean, you're not going to, you know, have a relationship with the love of your life and just not do every day with them. Right? And so I think it's just like kind of having that same mentality is huge.
Well, and again, it's like, it's not about you. Like, it's about learning about God, who he is, and being in awe of him and praising him. Like, when you start the like comparison game and the aesthetic game, so if you want to call it, you're making it about yourself and how you look to others, or how you want to look. You know what I mean? Which is so easy to do in this culture. Sure, like whatever, but like, being aware, you know? Yeah.
No. Totally. Should we dive into some fun and creative ways of how you can kind of invite Jesus into your everyday? Because that's where the relationship happens. And I think that sometimes I so often am trying to chase that perfection, but I think what we should be chasing is that consistency. Okay. So something that I do, or that I strive to do, I shouldn't say I do it every day, but every morning, just on my way to work, I don't listen to music. I'll pray, and then I'll turn on some worship music. And then the rest of the drive time for the day, I'm listening to my country album. You know, it's all about balance. So, because I love my country music, but I think the mornings is just so like, it's like also my way to like ease into the day and like start off my day that way is really, I've just noticed a difference in just like me being able to get through the day. Right. And so that's something that I do. It's kind of inviting him in.
That's great. A few of those. Some that really got me through college and like totally changed my relationship with the Lord for the better was I had a nannying job, and it was like an hour drive. And so in the mornings, I would listen to worship music, and then I would pray out loud. And praying out loud was something that, like, just, I don't know. It's just, like, it makes it real. You don't get distracted as easily because you're, like, having to actually talk.
Yep. Yeah.
And I would do that with reading the Bible, too, is I would read out loud when I was doing my devotion. But another thing I would do is when I was reading my Bible or something, or reading through my, like, notes from, like, church, I would write what would stick out to me on a sticking or what do you call
note card?
Note card, thank you.
Yeah.
And tape it on my wall in my dorm or whatever. And that was super powerful for me. You're going through a lot in college, and where we were living and, like, the situation at the time, it was really tough.
Yeah.
And so it was just like, I don't know, like my prayer wall right there. And so that really just,
that's awesome.
It was different, and it was like all I had to do was write out a verse or write out something that my pastor had said, and I was like, it was there, and just like good reminders.
Yeah.
I'm like out of breath. Like, you're like, oh,
here we go.
I'm like sweating.
Yeah. No, I love that, and it's like you're being intentional about it.
Yeah.
Like, here's what I'm taking away, right?
Yep.
So I love that. I think, again, something that I'll do, and I'm laughing because it was kind of an adjustment, like, after I got married, but a lot of times I'll pray out loud in the shower. And I remember Logan being, like, coming in, like, who are you talking to? Like, at first he couldn't really quite tell, and I was like, oh, like, I'm just having my prayer time or whatever, and it's just, like, super, because I remember him, like, gotta, like,
he's like, who's there?
Yeah. And so, yeah, but a lot of times just in the shower, like, I used to listen to music a lot, and sometimes I do. Oftentimes I'm listening to either a podcast or I'm just taking that time to just pray in the shower. It's such a good time to just do it because you got a shower, right? And so, yeah, that's another little thing that I do. I also love sharing with other people about what God's doing in my life because it makes me reflect on it, and I just think that it's such a beautiful, like, form of worship, like praising him, and not like asking for praise back, but just like sharing. And even if it's just with Logan, just sharing, like, hey, like, here's what I feel like God's telling me.
Yep.
Look what he's doing in my life, right? Like, and not to be boastful again, but just like, it allows me to reflect on, like, wow, like, life is so good, even when I don't think it is.
Yeah. Yep.
So
yeah, I agree. I think finding that thing that you can do daily or whatever that just, like, brings you closer to the Lord and allows you to reflect on who he is and how he has been so faithful in your life. I remember before we had the podcast, I would write, like, social media posts once in a while.
Yeah.
Just like a kind of what the Lord's been teaching me. And I love doing that because I love writing.
Yep.
I love words. And so doing that, like, allowed me to just, like, think back and just really process and, like, dive deep into what God is doing in my life and just who he is. And now through the blog on our website and stuff, it's just so fun to, like, do that again. And it's a way of, like, worshiping the Lord and then just reflecting and growing and learning, like, all the time.
Yeah, and I think it's so fun because, like, we do certain things that we're, like, putting out for other people, right? But it's like, and it's like literally this podcast, it's such, like, a growth factor for me, like, taking the time to, like, sit down, study, and, like, it's just, I think I'm growing so much, right? And so I think that's, like, just the beauty of it.
Yeah. And I think this verse, I just saw it on here, that 1 Corinthians 10:31, it says, whether you eat or drink or whatever you do it all for the glory of God. And it's like, it doesn't have to be difficult to spend time with the Lord. Like, you could literally be, like, getting a coffee. Lord, thank you for this coffee. Like, like, it's literally those tiny things that we struggle to do because we take them for granted so much.
Yeah.
And it's like, just those small steps towards worshiping the Lord will just, like, lead you to closer and closer with the Lord.
Yep.
And just become more in awe of who he is.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, like, little things like that, it's like we also have to remember we are a testament of God's goodness, right? As Christians. And so I think being bold, going back to one of our first podcasts, right? Being bold in that also encourages you, whether in that moment or later down the road.
Right.
Like you will look back and like be like, I was like bold in that moment and like that strengthened my relationship with the Lord. And so I think, I don't know really exactly where I was going with that, but it just makes me think of 1 Peter 1:6. So be truly glad there is wonderful joy ahead, even though you must endure many trials for a little while. So like even when life is like really, really tough and we're just in the rut, or maybe we're not even like going through anything, we're just busy. There is so much joy ahead.
Yep.
And, you know, something that's super powerful is like the biggest joy we'll ever experience is heaven, right?
Right.
And that's eternity. And so it's like that, when you just like live with that mindset, it's like there is so much joy ahead, right? And so, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really good. I think like we talk a lot about, you know, the difference between, like I said at the beginning, like praising God in the good and praising God in the bad.
Yeah.
And really focusing on, I think now when you're young and, you know, if you're just married or you're dating, you're in college, or high school, whatever.
Yeah.
And just slowing down, even the busy, or just praising God in the busy.
Yep.
Because this life is more than just you're busy, like being in the busy, right? Like you have a purpose greater than just going from one thing to the next without really slowing down and realizing or trying to see what God is doing.
Yeah.
And I find myself doing that all the time, where even like right now, like being pregnant, it's like, oh, I just want to get to, like, I just want baby to be here. Like, yes, I do. But also like each day is like a day for like the Lord to work in me and to fulfill the purpose he has for me.
Yeah. And to shine through you.
Exactly.
Like little things at the grocery store. Like, I don't know, like something fell on the ground out of this woman's cart and I like just picked it up and put it back. And she was like shocked that I did that. And I was like, oh yeah, like totally, you know, like no problem at all. And it's just like little things like that. Like if you just like plant those seeds of just like spreading the love, like
just being
it
aware.
shines through you.
Yeah. Being aware, like how you carry yourself. Like people see that. Like when you follow Jesus and love him with your whole heart, you like as cheesy as it sounds, like you do have like a shine. Like there is something to you that people don't understand, and it makes them drawn to you. Yeah. Or you know, it makes them be like, I don't like you, but they're, you know what I mean? Like there's
drawn to you in one way or another.
It makes you different, and people want to know why. Yeah. And if we don't slow down to recognize that and be like, you know, I don't know, just I could go on and on about that. I know. Just it's slowing down, and that's hard to say when you're like, well, I can't slow down. Like, it's just so busy. It's like, well, your mind can slow down. You can be in a busy thing, but your mind can still be slow and, like, aware and intentional.
Yep. And keeping it rooted in an eternal mindset. Yep. And that's where just, like, so much joy comes from is, again, this life is so temporary. Yeah. And so, you know, use it for God's goodness. Yeah.
Like you said, like invite Jesus into every aspect of your life, not just the short devotional time you have in the morning, like in every aspect. And that will change your walk with the Lord for the better.
The dishes, the laundry, the vacuuming, right? Just all the little chores and so much things. Wives. Gosh. Yeah. But even like work, like I think about like I sit at my computer, you know, like, and there's so many times that I could just like pause and take 1 minute just to pray. Like, you know, so many little things. Just invite him into the everyday.
Yep. That's our piece of it.
Our final encouragement.
Thank you. Okay, I'm glad someone else is here to.
Guys, baby girl's gonna be here next one. I have a feeling.
Let's hope so, guys. Let's hope so.
Okay.
All right. We'll catch our blog post for this. Will be up. Who knows when? But it will be up eventually, and
check it out when it comes out.
Yeah. So we're excited.
All right. We will see you on the next one.
Bye, guys.
Bye.